Welcome to the Athletes in Motion podcast, From Race to Recovery, with your hosts, Tom Riegel and Kenny Bailey.
Hey, Tom, how are you?
I'm fantastic, Kenny. How are you?
I am doing fantastic. Thank you very much. We are happy to have Sarah Crane with us today.
Welcome, Sarah.
Thank you.
Sarah, you have the glory of being our first triathlete as part of our triathletes journey. So what we're doing for this series, and we're kicking off the series, is we want to talk to amateur athletes that decided, you know what, I've decided I'm going to do my first triathlon. I'm going to give it a try. We're going to see how it goes. So what we want to do is talk to people like you that decided to jump in, get a little background on what's going on, and then throughout the year, we'll keep tabs on you, see how things are going, talk about you throughout the year to see if the training's going okay, pre-race and then post-race, and see how well we did. So we're excited to have you. Thank you, Sarah, for joining us.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me. I'm honored to be here.
All right. So the first question is, what
were you thinking?
Yeah, what? You were sitting around the couch. You were watching what? I don't know.
Sports.
Exactly. So, what made you decide that I think I want to do something like this?
Yeah. So I have actually trained for 3 triathlons and not done any of them.
So you're a professional trainer.
Yes, I am a professional trainer.
It's all about the journey.
Exactly. No. People will tell you, my family, my friends, I'm pretty determined. So I have wanted for a long time to do a triathlon and complete it. And I trained for one in high school with friends when I was swimming competitively. And one of my friends blew out her knee. And so instead of us each doing the triathlon individually, we did it as a relay. So I have done the bike portion of
there you
a
go.
triathlon.
Okay.
So is that technically doing a triathlon?
I know, does that count?
Well, I mean, it's a relay. We like to.
Okay.
I did a third of a
Getting your toes in
triathlon.
it. Yeah.
You did the athlon part.
You did the-
Yeah.
So, there you go.
And then I was training for another triathlon in Uganda, where I used to live, and I got very sick from a mystery mosquito something. And so, unfortunately, I couldn't compete in that. I got sick 2 weeks before the race.
Oh, yeah.
So I had trained and was ready, got to go cheer my friends on, but I didn't compete. And then I was training for a third one, actually the Music City Triathlon, and COVID.
Oh, wow.
Oh, lovely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it did not happen.
0 for 3.
0 for 3.
There you go.
Training for hopefully numbers 4 and 5.
Oh, very good.
So that's the plan.
So let's not gloss over the Uganda thing. So what brought you to Uganda, and how in the heck do you train in Uganda for a triathlon?
It was quite interesting. And I lived in a very small town in Uganda. So I moved over there to work with a small organization out of Philadelphia called Surge. And I worked at a high school and ran their orphan and vulnerable children scholarship program.
Wow.
Coached girls soccer, sat on the leadership team. It was phenomenal. But I lived in a really, really small town over the mountains, all the way almost to Congo.
Wow.
And in that community, women do not wear pants or shorts. So I got to train in either basketball shorts or skirts.
Wow.
So it made it very interesting. So my friends and I, we decided we were going to do it together. So we would go out riding our bikes with skirts over our shorts. Or we would go run with skirts over our shorts.
Okay.
And just thankfully we had one paved road, and so we could run on that, or we would run on the dirt village roads.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
can we just stop? Anybody that complains
Yeah.
here
The roads are really
the roads
rough.
are terrible. There's
Yeah,
a
shut up.
pothole. We had a road.
yes, we had one road, and then we had lots of potholes on the dirt
That's
roads.
funny.
So
Sure.
it made bike training really interesting.
So she
Chains
was gravel
flying
before
off,
gravel was-
all
So this
kinds
was kind of an
things.
off-road triathlon.
Yeah,
It was a bit of a mountain biking training.
I'd say that's
time.
cool.
Yeah.
I like
so,
that.
And then we had very little swimming. There was no swimming accessible in our community. So occasionally when we would go about 2 hours up the mountains, there was a pool there. And so we would swim a little bit. The triathlon is amazing. If anyone's interested, it's called the Chinenga Triathlon. And it's at a crater lake. So you almost hike down. It's like 200 steps down to the lake. Then you do your swim. Then you come 200 steps up. Then you do your bike through the village. So again, I heard people's pedals were falling off, chains were falling off bikes, but it was a real fun time. And then you do your run around the rim of the crater lake.
Wow.
And it is so
That sounds
beautiful.
awesome.
Yeah.
It really
Wow.
does.
So maybe one day I'll complete that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got to witness it,
There you
cheer
go.
my friends on. They did awesome. So
There you go.
That is. I think you won for like furthest distance we've ever talked to anybody about doing a triathlon.
Yeah,
I think.
I think-
If anybody can beat that, please drop a note.
Yeah. Let us know.
Yeah.
We're gonna make that a competition.
Oh, you raced in Canada. Wow.
We should
So,
set up
Uganda.
a tour to go over with how many athletes can we gather, get up
be
and
so
go over and
fun.
do that one.
That'd be crazy.
That would
it'd
be
so
insane.
fun.
So
Yeah.
you were a high school swimmer. Is that sort of how you got that nugget in there? What was your distance for swim?
Yes. So I was actually a year-round swimmer for 12 years up
Okay.
until I went to university. 100 and 200 breaststroke
Okay.
were my distance, and then kind of middle distance freestyle. So 400, 500. And I loved swimming. I loved it. I knew I was never going to be a super competitive athlete in that. And so when I went to college, I decided, you know what, I'm just going to do it for fun now and not continue to
Beat yourself up on
Yes,
that.
exactly. And so, but yeah, I think that was some of kind of the interest initially. I had two friends who we swam together. We decided to try for our first triathlon. Which we ended up completing as a relay, but kind of that discipline of distance swimming training has been wired into my brain for a long time. And the one thing I'll say is I kind of, since finishing that, I did intramural sports in college, had a ton of fun doing that, but haven't found a sport that I really love to continue to compete in, something to kind of keep me interested. And I also kind of have a short attention span. So I
is
bounce
triathlon is
from
perfect,
thing to
right?
thing.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
That sounds
Yes.
like a textbook triathlete.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've kind of not really found something I would say since swimming that's held my interest until
Yeah.
starting to train for triathlon again this year. And that's been fun.
Was there, you go from sort of black lines in a pool, very controlled. Was the move to open water something that was a concern, or was that just a really easy, natural thing for you?
So, funny enough, I swam open water a little bit growing up. So
no kidding.
we would
Okay.
do, sometimes occasionally with swim team, but then my grandparents had a cabin up in Michigan in the Upper Peninsula, so kind of near Canada. And we would swim out there a lot. And one summer I decided I was going to swim across the lake. And my whole family was like, this is crazy. What are you doing? We're going to follow you in the boat, just in case anything happens. But
Yeah.
I swim all the way across
Wow,
that lake.
okay.
Wow.
And my family still talks about it, a decade later or whatever from when it
Legendary.
happened. Yes, the legendary swim across Lake Gogebic. But yeah, so in that, I was like, oh, that was fun. It's not, now I'm not swimming in any ocean races. I feel
Okay.
like that might be a different thing,
Yes.
but
a
I'm
little
semi-comfortable in lakes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Nice.
good.
Yeah.
Okay.
The other thing that can be a challenge too with a single sport athlete is you're used to when you get out of the water. I mean, you gave it 100%, right? You're racing, right? With triathlon, one of the challenges is you're trying to do three disciplines. Did you find that? I know when I cycle too hard and then I blow up my run every time because I love just going fast on a bike. Was that a problem as well, or is that something that was pretty easily overcome for you?
So I haven't done a race yet. So
Ah,
once we do
but as you're
it,
training-
we'll find out.
oh,
But
okay.
as I'm training, yeah, I would say, unlike most triathletes I speak to, I wish the swimming was a lot longer.
Yeah, you are an anomaly. Yes.
Yeah, you're definitely the 1%.
Yeah,
That
because
says-
I love the swimming portion of it, and I could go much longer.
Yeah.
So that's the one. I wish it was a bit longer. I'm getting used to. I've done a few brick workouts where I've transitioned either swim to bike or bike to run, and it's definitely taking some getting used to. And so I think my trick is going to be, I really love the swimming. I really enjoy the biking. The running is not my favorite. It was kind of a punishment for most of the sports I did. Swimming, you
Yeah.
do dry land.
Yeah.
I played soccer for a little while.
Yeah.
You run to get your fitness up at the beginning of the season,
Sure. Yeah.
but then you're like running sprints because of discipline or
Yeah.
your team lost during practice or whatever. And so both just getting like the running, my endurance up for that, and then having enough endurance at the very end is
Yeah.
definitely something I'm concerned about as I'm training.
So this year, you've decided this is the year to do it. So which specific one have you signed up for?
So I've actually signed up for two.
Oh, that's right. You've
I
done two.
know. I am doing so the Music City Triathlon, which I didn't get to do in 2020.
Come back for that one.
Bucket list. There you go.
Doing
Yes.
it again. So that's in June. And actually before that one, I'm doing the women's triathlon, which is from what I understand, new triathlon. I think it's the
Brand new
inaugural.
Team Magic inaugural women's tri. They've been trying to do this for years. We've talked to them about it last year on the podcast. They actually were talking about it. They were looking for a sponsor. So apparently they found one. And it's fantastic.
So tell us about, let's start with the Music City. What is that? Is it a river swim? How's that course?
It's a river swim, and then you bike through the city and run through the city.
Okay. And you're doing the Olympic distance on that, right?
I'm actually doing the sprint distance on
okay.
that. I'm tempted by the Olympic because you get to jump off the General Jackson show boat, which as a Nashvilleian is quite,
That's cool.
quite a pull.
It's pretty epic.
Yeah.
You get to jump
Yeah.
off that. It's
Great.
perfectly
Jump
good
off
boat.
a perfectly good boat. Right.
Right into the river.
Right into the river,
yes.
Yeah.
And so you said that of the 3 disciplines, the run is the one you're most nervous about, right?
It is.
So as you put together your training program, what are those things that you're trying to do to kind of get that? You mentioned bricks before. Is that helping? What are those things that you feel like you're
So
you're
what
doing
does your
well on?
training look like right now?
I guess that would be
Right, we're a couple of months out, right? So what does your training week look like?
Yeah. So on a regular week, which is, I was sick a few weeks ago and had to take some time off. But on a regular week, I'm trying to swim twice, bike twice, run twice is the goal. And I'm actually using this app. So my friend Elizabeth Rose, shout out Nashville Triathlon Club.
NTC?
Yep. She has been a really great friend and kind of mentor in the sport as I go, what in the world do I do? And so she told me about TriDot.
Yes.
And their training plans. And so as someone who can kind of get super over analytical in researching and like wanting to find the right plan and wanting to know the right thing, that has been really great because I plug in when my races are and kind of what time I have to give to training, and it spits out training plans for me. And I can kind of move around the training within their
Because it
app.
adjusts a little bit, right? It's using some artificial intelligence
Yeah.
to kind of look
Yeah.
at what you're doing and set your thresholds and that.
Yeah,
so.
it takes some data, and you do about a once a month assessment, and then it sets some goals. So that's been really helpful for me. Now, I will say, I don't always do all of the workouts exactly right. So, but it's been incredibly helpful, and it's been great to watch kind of my times improve. And with doing the training that they recommend, most of it is pretty doable at the fitness level because they gear it based on that. And so then. That's been nice to go, okay, here's my plan for this week, and then month over month to kind of see that improve and continue.
What
on
types of what types of testing do they do? What kind of threshold testing do they do on that monthly basis? What does it look like?
So it depends on if you're like indoor or outdoor. They'll adjust based on that. Right now I'm doing most besides running indoors. I had a great friend help me set up my trainer for my bike. So I've had that inside while it's been cold.
Yeah.
And for swimming, there's kind of a certain amount of warm up you do, and then you do a 400 and a 200 for time.
Yeah.
And then for biking, you do a 15-mile like threshold bike.
Okay.
And then they're measuring. I don't have power measured on my bike. I have a very basic bike that I got
is
off
perfectly
Facebook
fine.
Marketplace.
That's right. Yeah. But you're riding it and you're on it.
But
That's
I'm
all that
riding
counts.
it. I'm on it.
There you
And
go.
we shouted out earlier, my Garmin is helping kind of track some of
Yeah,
that. And then they have you do a 5K for time once a month.
Okay.
And so then they just, take those times and how you've done. And they have all other data that they incorporate, like weather and indoors, outdoors. I don't know a lot about, all of those details, but in general, the timing is helping and seeing improvement. And so that's been encouraging me in the running, especially is like, okay, I'm getting better. This isn't just like a slog that I'm not seeing progress on.
Yeah.
So that's been very encouraging in that.
Are
capacity.
you a morning kind of workout person? Are you an evening kind of workout person? Do you split it up? Which is best for you?
I split it up. It kind of depends. So right now, on top of work, I'm also in grad school. So I have night classes for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so on days that I have that, I either do I do morning swims. I have a couple buddies I go swim with in the mornings.
Yeah.
And then usually after class, I may do a bike or run to kind of just like, turn off the day and do that.
Yep.
And then I will try to wake up a couple mornings a week and either get a run or a bike in, especially as the weather's getting nicer and it's lighter earlier here or lighter later.
Yeah.
I did a run after work. So it shifts around for me.
Okay.
Depending on the day.
Do you find certain times of the day that are better for you versus others as far as physiologically? Like I know I tried to do a 2 o'clock in the afternoon training and it was horrible. I'm not an afternoon trainer. Have you found sort of that rhythm?
I find that either the morning or kind of like a 4 o'clock, like if I can, but usually I'm at work, so 4 o'clock is not always happening. I find if I'm doing something, if I just need kind of like slow and to get miles in, an evening is nice because I'm a little more relaxed. But if I'm trying to get a really good workout in, mornings are best generally.
Yeah, more focused on that. The evenings are probably better for unwinding.
Yes.
Maybe your recovery days.
Yeah. Yes.
Clearing the head out.
Yeah. Get like a long, slow ride in or something. Great for the evenings.
Yeah.
So you've mentioned a couple of times you've had, a friend of yours at the Nashville Tri Club to help you out. You have a couple of people swimming. How important is it to have kind of people that help surround you with stuff like that? Look, I have to show up in the morning because I have a couple other people. Is that something you're finding to be more important, or you kind of knew that all along? Or is this like a happy thing that you found?
I found that to be incredibly motivating and encouraging. I think growing up, even though I did competitive swimming, and that's kind of an individual sport, it's also a team sport because I always swam on a team. And some years multiple teams because I swam on like my year-round team and my high school team and my summer swim team. And so I have always had kind of a team sport mentality. I'm not much of let me just go, do it by myself. So it's actually been super motivating. It's been great accountability to have friends to wake up and be going to swim with or going on bike rides with or different things. And also to have people who are encouraging. So for me, I'm a lot more experienced in swimming because of my background in that. But then biking, I don't really know anything. My dad used to bike a ton growing up, and we would go on like family fun rides, but I don't know much about it, the gears and any details about it. And so that's been really nice to have friends who know and who have been encouraging, like, hey, come out on this group ride, or hey, let's go ride just the two of us and teach me some different things as we go, or kind of invite me into some of that. So I didn't know there was such a community around triathlon. I knew friends who were in running clubs or friends who kind of did biking clubs or groups. That's been one of the great surprises of this season, has been finding there's this incredible community around triathlon, and they're so welcoming at all levels of the sport. People are so welcoming into that, and I've loved that.
Yeah, and I think that's what we're trying to do with the series is just trying to get people that are considering it, right? Considering, I think I want to try to do this. I think what I'm hearing is, find your local tri club and just talk to those folks to be able to do it. They're not. I think sometimes when you think local tri clubs, you think again all the really fit people that are
there's that misnomer,
that kind of thing, and they're they spend a ton of money on everything. When it's just like a run group, it's just there's going to be all different levels in doing that. So I guess it sounds like a recommendation you would have is if you're thinking about doing that, start reaching out to the tri club and just meeting people, right?
Yeah, that would absolutely be a recommendation. And I would be remiss to say one of the other reasons I'm training for a triathlon is one of my friends, her name is Brinkley. She lived in Nashville and has now moved to Houston, but she and I were planning to do the Music City Tri together in 2020.
Okay.
Then it got canceled because we all know COVID. And so she is actually coming back to do it with me.
There's a little motivation now. She's traveling here.
Exactly. And so she has been down in Houston. She was kind of feeling lonely in her training. She's like texting me, I'm swimming, I'm running, and she has a friend that she's been going running with. But I said, hey, you got to find your local triathlon club. That's who is going to help you. They'll be encouraging. They'll help, you can go on rides together. You can this and that. And she was not quite sure how to find them. So I actually went on the TriDot has this huge Facebook group. And I went in there and posted and said, hey, does anybody know of triathlon clubs in Houston? Within 15 minutes,
Oh, yeah.
I had
Probably
like
5.
8 or 10 different people.
Yeah. Houston's not a small town. They
No,
probably
it's
do
not.
some-
They've got a lot
Yeah.
of tri clubs.
Yeah.
And so they have a lot of tri clubs all around, and kind of people commented to be like, what area of the city is she in, and this and that. And so we found a couple options for her, and she's chatting with them to figure out. But
Great.
that's absolutely what I would recommend.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the other triathlon you're doing. It's a women's only triathlon. Is that what intrigued you by that? What made you decide to do that one?
Yeah, I'm really intrigued by the women's only thing. I love, I am a big women's rights.
Yeah.
Working in Uganda, kind of gender equality around education is something I'm really passionate about. And so seeing that and then knowing Nashville and Tennessee's history, we helped ratify the women's rights voting, helped make that legal in the United States. And so I love that history for our state. And so seeing that, and then my friend Elizabeth from National Triathlon Club said, hey, I'm doing this. You want to do it too? And so that was encouragement to go, okay, great. Yeah, let's do it. And it's local for me. And
So is that
really
one
close.
help us understand? Is that a pool swim?
It is a pool swim.
Okay.
So we'll swim at the pool at the Sportsplex, and then it's right next to Centennial Park. And so the bike and the transition area will be right near the Parthenon, which, if people don't know who are listening, Nashville is the Athens of the South.
Yes.
Have a whole Parthenon
It is.
and
Have a Parthenon.
an Athena
It's a
statue
legit-
and everything.
yeah, it's
Which
there.
makes complete sense because
Yeah, it
in
does.
Nashville they're thinking,
Well, the London Bridge was taken in Arizona, so we had to have something.
Yeah,
here.
and the Eiffel Tower is in Paris, Tennessee,
See.
so we
Oh,
couldn't grab
there you
that
go.
either.
That was taken.
So the Parthenon.
looking around.
Yeah.
But
All good.
so we'll bike and run. We kind of start the bike in
Yeah.
the park, go through the local neighborhood, and come back, and then we run around the park a couple laps. So.
Yeah, and again, for people, I think what we're trying to do is just bring education to people, and for people that may not know that not all triathlons are ocean swims where you have to dive in and and then go up a mountain and then run around crazy stuff. There are pool based triathlons that are available, which are safer and which kind of make it a little bit easier. So I think that's really neat. Have you seen? What's been the reaction that you've seen when you tell people you're doing a women's only? Because, I mean, we're huge supporters of that. I think that's one of the things, that, again, we're trying to remove barriers for getting people in there. And if some of the barriers is like, look, we just got a lot of, we got a lot of really competitive people. We have a lot of guys that are just kind of really aggressive. Can we just have a...
the testosterone can be a little daunting, and intimidating when you get into the situations like that. So
So that's part that intrigued you was to be able to just do that and support that, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And it actually was really fun. Recently, I was having coffee with a mentor of mine, and I was telling her about this, and she said, wow, I think I would like to do that, but I really don't like to run. Like, I've had some different injuries. And I said, well, there's actually an aqua bike option, which is just the swimming and biking. And she was like, oh, okay. And then she said, wait, it's women's only? And she said, send me the information on that. I might be interested to try it out, because I think for people who either haven't done the sport and aren't as bound and determined as I am to be by gosh, I'm going to do this. It feels like an easier entry point to go, okay, that feels less intimidating to have it be women's only, to have it be local to Nashville, to have it be a pool swim instead of an open water swim. There's just so many pieces of it that feel like an easier entry point for people.
Yeah, and that's really important to understand, right? In that just do the aqua bike and then add the run later. Or by the way, you don't have to run. You can do a run walk. You can do. I have a dear friend of mine that thought he could never do an Ironman distance because his knees were bad, and he's like, I can't run it.
Yeah. I'm
like, yeah, but you're a fast walker, and he walked 2 of them.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You can walk it.
Yeah.
I mean, you get off the bike early enough, you've got 7 hours to walk a marathon, and you can do that.
You can power walk those things.
Yeah.
You can get through them pretty quick.
So, there's, I think to your point, I think there just may be some education that needs to be done on saying, look, folks, there are options, there are things you can do to just at least get inside sort of the sport and look around and go, okay, yeah, these are humans, normal humans to be able to do that.
And also recommend relays.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
How many people that I know that was like, I could never do a whole triathlon, and we're talking short we're not talking Ironman distance type stuff. We're talking, I could never do that. I could never do that. And they come down and they watch. So first they cheer on, right?
Yeah.
So if you're watching and supporting, that's important too. You're part of the community by being there. Then they kind of get the inkling of like, well, I'll just do the run portion, or I'll just do the swim portion, or something like that. Then they see everything that happens and they go, I got to do the whole thing.
Yeah.
I really have to try the whole thing because I can do this.
I can do that.
You don't have to go, in all in type of thing. You can put your toes in the water and kind of work your way in a little bit.
Literally.
I mean, and some of these pool swim tries are reverse tries. So you'll actually bike, then run, then swim last in the pool, and they use that so there's not as many people in the pool, right? It usually breaks up by the time. I don't know if they do if it's run, bike, swim, or whatever, but they put the swim at the end depending on where it is, and it's just a couple of laps. You're only doing 100 yards at most for some of these things. So it's all doable. It's all good stuff. Yeah, seriously.
So looking forward, what is the one thing you're kind of keeping your eye on, and what's the one thing you're most excited about?
Good question. I think the one thing I'm keeping my eye on is just being regular with getting in my training and trying to follow the plan that I have with TriDot. And I'll say, if anyone is thinking about triathlon and is intimidated kind of about the training plan, TriDot has been they have a free option and paid options. And that's been a great way for me to kind of take the having to figure out training plan off of my mental load. So I think just keeping my eye on that and making sure, I think swimming and biking, I'm getting in the miles and having a ton of fun doing it. And so hopefully the running will become fun instead of just being like, okay, I got to do my run today. So I'm hopeful that that'll become more enjoyable. And then I think the thing I'm most excited about is finishing my first triathlon, after having trained for a number of them, is doing that. And then doing it alongside friends, I think will be great fun. Both of them, I have friends doing the race, and having particularly my friend who we were going to do it 3 years ago and doing it now, come in town.
Is there a temptation to think, well, I want to do it under this amount of time, or if I don't do it this way, I'll be disappointed? Is that something that just doesn't enter your mind, or is it something that you're not letting, or does it, or do you have an expectation?
That middle option. I'm just not letting myself, because I think it's like, particularly for the first one, I'm like, just finish it. Like, just do it. Like, you haven't, the other one is only a few weeks later. There's only about 3 weeks in between them. And so I don't know that I'll have enough time to go, oh, okay, now like do it at a certain time. But, maybe setting the bar on that first one. They're also a little bit of different distances. The women's one, I think the run is only a 4K, and the Music City one is a 5K. So it's a little bit of like, okay, pacing, it won't be exactly the same. Open water, pool swim, all that difference. But I think for right now, I'm not letting myself go there. Now, I may get there. We'll see. I don't know. What would Coach Tom
Not
say?
now.
Not now.
Don't think about it now. I'd like to look at what your pacing or what you will be based on your physical abilities just before the race. So that week of the race should dictate the time that you're able to actually successfully complete it. Usually you're not going to go much faster than that, right? You're going to go slower than what you think you can actually do. But don't assess your fitness now and go, I want to hit this number that's unattainable. We don't know what life is going to throw at you in the next couple months. So it'll be interesting to see. But I think you're going about it right.
And the thing that's the thing to consider to do, believe it or not, to train for is also the transitions, because those are the things that, in my, he's the coach, I'm just the guy that's done this a few times, but practicing that, because when you get out of the water, your brain is all over the place, right? So if you make it a habit, like, and I sing, right? Head, shoulders, knees and toes, right? So, helmet, and socks, where you just think about how you want to do that and practice that, because what you want the ability to do is not have your brain do work, because you're like, oh my gosh, that swim was crazy, oh my gosh, and then I'm getting out of here and I'm doing this. It's like head, shoulders, knees and toes, right? And then you're gone, and then that way you don't forget something, or you don't. I actually left. I wore a pair of. It was illegal. I wore a pair of Roka. The floaty pants.
The floaty pants. Yeah.
Right. So I wore the floaty pants
shorts, yeah.
because I didn't want to wear a full wetsuit. It was wetsuit
Yeah.
legal, but I didn't want to wear it. So I
Yeah.
just wore the floaty pants. Got out, did the transition. Wasn't thinking I was doing great. I go to leave. I look down and I still have neoprene shorts on. So I had to
It would've
pull
been
over,
yeah.
They could
get
pull-
out, pull down that, throw it in a ditch. This lady's like, I got you. So, and I think I'm experienced, quote unquote. But, there's some times where where you just do stupid things. So one of the things is transition is always
Yeah.
fun. So
Yeah.
we're excited for you. I think this is
Yes.
great. We really appreciate you coming on today. I
Yeah.
think, like I said, we're really excited to just we'll wait about 3 or 4 weeks and we'll do another catch up just to kind of
Great,
see how the
yeah.
training's going, see if there's any challenges. It sounds like right now you're going in with a great attitude. You have a plan. You have people that are help supporting you. You have enthusiasm. You're still healthy, right? No injuries or anything that's
Yep,
lagging.
doing
So
great.
Good.
So
Knock
far,
on
so
wood.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
go
I know.
from
Knock
there.
on wood.
So-
Fingers crossed.
I just jinxed her. I'm so sorry. So sorry.
It was Kenny. It was Kenny.
I'll blame you.
Kenny's
if
curse.
anything happens.
Bastard! I could just see it. She tweaks her knee on the run.
Yeah,
She,
like, thanks.
sends me an email. You. So,
Let's talk about that.
yeah.
But good. Thank you. And let's, we have our Facebook page up now. So we'll try to get some conversation going on a Facebook
Great.
group, Facebook page. It's open to everybody as we get this up. I want to thank everybody for all your comments and things. Send us more. Give us your thoughts. Give us your feedback. Send us words of encouragement, all that good stuff. We also want to thank our partner here at the coffee shop, the
Yes.
Coffee House at 2nd and Bridge in downtown Franklin. We love our coffee very, very much.
Very much.
Very happy to be here as often as we can, which is always good. And we appreciate everybody. Give us 5 stars, thumbs up, all that stuff to help the algorithms, and more people can find us. So it's fantastic. Thanks you.
Thanks,
Thank
sir.
you
Thanks
for
for being
having
here.
me.
And to everybody, we'll catch you on the next one.